CBS News Chicago. Streamer Hasan Piker takes issue with the questioning at O'Hare International Airport.
Was in town to speak at the University of Chicago, but says he was detained for several hours at O'Hare and questioned about his political beliefs.
Federal agents say the prominent Twitch streamer is lying for likes. Our Sarah Maki is live at O'Hare and looking into this tonight. Sarah.
Bro, they sent someone to O'Hare to cover it? That's crazy. That's dope. Let's continue.
Guys, with millions of followers, Hasan Piker often talks about left-wing issues and believes that is why he was pulled aside and questioned here at O'Hare. We talked with our legal analyst about what travelers need to know.
They started asking me about crazy, like, do you like Donald Trump? It's illegal for him to even ask me those questions. Like, they can't deny me entry into my own country for, like, even if I was like, I love Hamas, they can't do that. Like, what do you mean?
That's American-born citizen, Twitch streamer, and left-wing political commentator Hasan Piker recounting a 2-hour encounter with federal agents after he arrived in Chicago from a family vacation in Paris, an incident he talked about at length with his millions of followers.
Everything I've done is fully protected under the First Amendment, okay? And none of these questions are actually valid questions to ask.
A Homeland Security official acknowledged the incident, telling us this is nothing but lying for likes. Claims that his political beliefs triggered the inspection are baseless. Our officers are following the law, not agendas.
And I suspect because this happened at an airport and an entry point into the country, that there were cameras everywhere.
Legal analyst Irv Miller told us location is key. International travelers give up certain Fourth Amendment rights to search and seizure that domestic travelers retain.
And immigration has an absolute right to ask you who you are and to see your identification, but they don't have a right to ask you questions and demand answers of things other than your identity and your...
Yep. This is, you know what's crazy? For American citizens, I found out that Customs and Border Patrol technically doesn't even have a right to deny you entry for like stuff that that would fall under Customs and Border Patrol's purview, like whether you have like agricultural products that might be an agricultural threat. Like, that is literally the job of Customs and Border Patrol. Okay, I didn't know this. But even stuff that they are supposed to be looking at, like contraband, you have a legal right to say that you're not answering that, and that they can't deny you entry. They can confiscate it, but they can't like arrest you, from what I understand. Unless, I mean, obviously, unless it's like a drug, and then they investigate and they catch you trafficking drugs or something, and then they can obviously arrest you. But as a United States citizen, like in that conversation, you're not, like, you can just say you're not responding to those questions beyond the confirmation of your identity. And I didn't even know that. Of course, they have ways of making it more difficult for you, but you have ways of making it more difficult for them. Like, for example, where there are things you can do, as I've mentioned already, that make it harder for them to actually seize your stuff or be able to like take information from you. They have they do not have a legal right to compel you to put your passcode on your phone. Weirdly enough, your phone has a lot more private data than your actual laptop, but the laptop is an older piece of technology, so there's more legislation surrounding accessing information in your laptop as opposed to legal protections accessing your phone. This is why everyone always stresses the importance of removing biometrics from your phone. No Face ID, no thumbprint, none of that, because they can actually, it is an illegal gray zone where they can actually use your biometrics to turn on your phone. And I believe there's a term called like first unlock or something. I forget what the actual term is called, but like they literally, once it's unlocked, or if they seize your phone while it's unlocked, while your phone, before first unlock, like while your phone is already unlocked, they can actually look through it. There's different ways of doing this. You can put your phone on airplane mode, and then they can literally look through everything on your phone. They can't just like look for new information by refreshing your email or anything. But one of the quickest things that you can do if you forgot if you forgot to change biometrics, if you forgot to remove biometrics from your phone, like Face ID from your phone, you can click the hold button 5 times in a row in rapid succession, which automatically will lock your phone, and you won't be able to use Face ID until you put your passcode in. But then again, and that's for your iPhone. But then again, it doesn't even matter technically, because they can still try to get this information out of you or make your life difficult and detain you for a very long time if you refuse to play ball. So at that point, it's up to you. But that's the reason why I say you have to play ball. The best idea, obviously, if you're traveling internationally, is to travel with a burner phone. That's what people say. Or back up your phone beforehand and then wipe it when you are in the process of travel. Of course, this is just for United States citizens, and I believe green card holders as well. Green card holders also have additional... Green card holders and U.S. citizens have more protection at the border than non-citizens do, or travelers do. Unfortunately, if you are on a student visa, if you're a visa recipient like Customs and Border Patrol, it's within their power to deny you entry into the country. So, unfortunately, you have a different set of standards. But what I'm talking about is specifically about American citizens and even green card holders as well. Green card holders, even though this administration is trying to change that dynamic, green card holders also have, and this is not legal advice, obviously, but green card holders also have additional sets of protections for them. Like, you can't deny entry to a green card holder either, in the same way that you could to someone who is, simply on a visa.
Your citizenship.
He adds all travelers keep their Fifth Amendment right to remain silent, though acknowledging that could prolong your questioning at a time when border enforcement is a White House priority.
The government is trying to be tougher. It's trying to be more invasive. It's getting close to that line, whether or not something's constitutional or unconstitutional.
Has there been any more official response that you're lying for likes? No, but the irony, of course, is that the person saying you're lying for likes is Tricia McLaughlin, the spokesperson for the Department of Homeland Security. And while she said that, she also admitted that there was a detention. And the reason why I think it's really funny is that, like, they don't even deny it. They just omit the questions that they asked, and basically say, no, it wasn't for a political reason. It was a routine check. We all know that it wasn't just a routine check, especially given the line of questioning and how specific the questioning was. But having said that, I find it really funny that there are people who are still acting as though this is not real. This is not a real thing to happen, even though the Department of Homeland Security admitted that it happened. And I'm going to talk about that in a second, but I got to pee real quick.
And it always ends up in the courts.
We have asked for video of this encounter to find out exactly what was said inside. When we talked to Irv Miller, he also said when talking with clients, he advises them to answer questions respectfully, but when they think that something may be going wrong, to ask for a supervisor. From O'Hare, Sarah Maki, CBS News, Chicago.
Thanks, Sarah.
Hasan Piker, what's up?
What's going on, John? Things are not looking too hot right now. How about on your end?
You were briefly a political prisoner?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't go that far, but yeah, I was briefly detained by the regime for being a political dissident and interrogated on my loyalties to the administration.
So, for people who have not yet heard this story, which is all over the place now, can you tell us what happened? You were in France? And you were flying home?
I went to France for Mother's Day. Took my family there. Did they straight up ask you about your temporary bans on Twitch? Yes, they did. Is wild this happened, but Legacy Media has an axe to grind with you after your name came up in a meeting where I work. Someone blasted a Richie Torres press release to the entire network for awareness. No, that's not Legacy Media. That's Legacy Media does not have an axe to grind with me necessarily. Obviously, if they did, they wouldn't be talking. They wouldn't be offering this kind of coverage. But there are, of course, always going to be people in newsrooms that are freaks. But no one worth a damn is ever going to take Richie Torres seriously, especially as it pertains to Israel. So, fairly easy to counter. Oh, here's the last thing I was going to say about this. Well, one, I have officially set my line of inquiry. I sent in my line of inquiry at dhs.gov/trip to get more information on why this detention took place and why these questions were asked. So we'll see when they respond what they will say. Because I also asked them, like, how do I make sure this doesn't happen again? Okay, that's one. What is this? They're right. My Prime sub needs renew, but it won't let me. Only gives me an option for 3 to 6 month subs. And that's weird. Okay. They ain't responding. LaMafeo. Who knows? Did the news network ask you for comment before claiming you lied? What? They did. The outlet that reached out after that statement, after the DHS statement, was NBC, which I did reply to. The last thing I wanted to show you was this very funny interaction that basically explains how a lot of people operate online, and how that interaction looks like when they engage like a normal person. Okay, this guy Derek Martin, okay, is the founder of Find the Path DC. He's on the board for Accountable.org, Campaign for Accountability.org. Like, this is the dude who worked at the NSA, I guess. Okay, I'm not entirely familiar with his politics. I don't think he is someone who would agree with me on this, but he says the Trump administration is hassling Twitch streamers of customs now. Whatever you think of Hasan the Hun and his beliefs, I'm sure we disagree on some things. This is a dangerous road to go down. And what I find really funny is, like, this person, this lolly VTuber guy, okay, who is constantly making videos about me. That's like a super, like, Israel bricked this dude's brain. Very, very unwell individual. He goes, there's no evidence this happened. And then this person responds, we can debate whether his recounting of the incident is credible, but the government admits he was taken aside for extra scrutiny. He says, Hasan claims ICE detained him. This says they asked the guy that supports multiple U.S. designated terrorist organizations a few extra questions. To me, when someone is released, it suggests at one point they were not free to go. Like, he's like, look at the Department of Homeland Security statement. It says it right there. Why are you trying to debate this? Okay. To which I said, Derek, you are arguing with an Israel dick rider who watches the pornographic anime of children. Anyway, so ad hominem, you called me a pedophile. Old Nick of Myra, thank you for the 20 gifted subs. Are they this dumb? Why would they tell such a provable lie? Yes. The answer is yes. Okay, I need you to understand something. Yes, they are this stupid. And yes, because they are so echo chambered into oblivion, surrounding themselves with other like-minded dumb that they have no way of comprehending how normal people interact with new information like this. And they think every single person is geared up, tuned up to 11 with their unimaginable Hasanabi hatred that is deep in their core, a very important part of their identity. No one cares. No one is like this. Most people are not like this. Okay. So if you spend all of your time online, obviously you are going to have a very different approach to this situation, because there's a lot of insane stuff for the past, I don't know, 4 or 5 years at this point that have circulated online, mostly slander, mostly smear, right? So you can generate a lot of attention and get some clicks if you entertain this ridiculous nonsense. Get in the helicopter. What does this mean? I don't know what the this guy's saying. But for normies, they look at the situation and go, I am reading the news, and it says something very different than the way that you are approaching the subject matter. It's a Pinochet reference? Oh, cool. I don't care. Whatever. Who gives a shit? But yeah, that's also the reason why so many people, when they find themselves in this like weird fuck Hasan echo chamber, they cannot comprehend why like mainstream news will give me any time whatsoever